Welcome to UPSC. This particular video is about NATA Part A syllabus. So here we are going to discuss in detail about all PTQ questions. We are going to discuss each and every term that appeared in PTQ questions, as well as we are going to solve some sample questions which is very much similar to some questions that appeared in NATA. Okay, so let's get right into the video. So, before getting into the video, I wanted to discuss one particular thing because I get so many comments and many students are doubt about this particular thing. See, if you are writing first attempt and second attempt of NATA, they are not going to take your average. Okay, see, as per brochure NATA 2020 and in page number 11, they have clearly mentioned the scorecard for second NATA shall contain the marks that you secured in first and second NATA, the best marks secured in either of the test. Remember, underline this word. The best marks secured in either of the tests shall be taken as valid scorecard for admission to B.Arch course. So don't worry, they are not going to take your average. Okay, let's get into the video. Let's discuss on very first question that appeared on NATA and it holds 17 marks in NATA. Okay, so let's discuss on this first. In the image below, there are 4 tigers clearly visible in the center. There are others that are merged into the background. Check out the image to find where the other tigers are hidden and how many of them you can locate. Tick your answer. Your time starts now. So, here the answer is 12. See, there are totally 16 tigers in this particular diagram, but we have to select only 12 here. Why? It is because they have already told in question the 4 tigers are visible in the center. Right, they're asking, the question clearly states that check out the image to find other tigers. We have to find only other tigers here. Okay, please don't get confused. Read the question once again to get the concept out of it. So let's see where are the other tigers hiding. So can you see here I have given a circle, white circle here. So the other tigers are hidden here. But what we are going to do is we gonna reduce or we gonna take this 4 tigers that they told in questions out. And how many tigers are left? So we have 12 tigers which is left. So the answer is 12. So let's start practicing these kind of questions next. So in this particular exercise question, the question says, in the image below, there are 2 faces clearly visible in the middle. So they are already saying 2 faces. Okay. And there are other faces that are merged in the background. Check out the image to find the other faces. They are asking us to find only the other face. Okay. How many faces can you locate? So your time starts now. Here the answer is 8. Okay. So as it is 17 marks and it is preferential type question, they will give different marks for different option. Okay. So if you're giving 8 as answer, then you will get 17 marks. If you're giving 7 as answer, then you'll get 12 marks. And if you give 5 as answer, then you will get only 7 marks. So try to answer accurately. Okay. So let's see where are the other phase hidden. So here can you see how many phases are hidden in this particular picture? Yes, there are 10 phases that are hidden in the picture, but they have already told us they have 2 phases in the center. So we are avoiding these 2 phases and we are telling the answer as 8. Okay, moving on to the next question. So this is our second sample question. In the image, there are faces that are merged into the background. Check out the image and find how many of them you can locate. Give your answers. Your time starts now. So here the answer is 9. Since it is PTQ type, you get answer for other options as well. But if you write or if you give the accurate answer, then you will get 17 marks. So here, what is the difference in this question is, they are not giving any phases initially. They are not telling a phase in the center, so find the others. Here they are asking us to locate how many phases. So you don't have to reduce or you don't have to remove any phases that you counted. You can count completely. So let's see how many phases and where it is. So totally there are 9 phases. Let's find out where it is. Okay. The first phase is here, the center one. The second phase is here, this lady phase. And the third one is the baby phase. So can you see a old man walking here? This is his face. So totally 4 phase here. We are going to see the fifth phase here. See? You have a side face here. So this is fifth. So we are going to see our sixth here. Can you see a baby face here? Yes. So there are 6 phases as of now. Our seventh phase gonna be another side phase. If you see here, can you see the side phase here? And our eighth will be again a side phase. So our ninth will be somewhere around here. See, these are the eyes. So totally 9 phases are there in this particular figure. In the image below, there are 3 pandas clearly visible in the center. So there are other pandas which are merged in the background. Check out the image and find where are other pandas are hidden and how many of them you can locate. Can you give your answers and your time starts now. So here the answer is 12 and let's see how you got 12. So can you see here? There is one panda here in the rock, another one here, and can you see one small panda here? You have another one in the flower here, and one is hiding here, looking down. It's the eye of the panda is here. Can you locate? And another one here, and one in the cloud, another one in the rock again. One is hidden behind this tree. Another one is here. You can see eyes here, this portion, and one is here. So totally we have how many pandas here? 15 pandas here. So we are going to remove these 3 pandas. So totally we have 12 pandas in this. In the image below, there are 2 pandas visible in the center and other pandas are merged into the background. So check out this image and find where are the other pandas hidden. So how many of them you can locate? Your time starts now. So your answer is 7 and let's see how it is. So can you see here? So totally we have 7 pandas other than these 2 highly visible pandas. In the image, there are faces that are merged into the background. Check out the image to find how many faces you can locate. Give your answer. Your time starts now. Before revealing the answer, tell me guys, Da Vinci is painting himself or a man on the horse? So, here the answer is 4 because you can see Da Vinci, we can see 2 faces here, 2 faces here, as well as we can see a man moving in the horse. Can you see? Even here you can see a man with hat moving in the horse. Right. So there are totally 4 faces. Okay, let's start practicing. This will be your practice question and the answer for this particular question will be displayed in our description of this particular video. So do find the faces accurately and tell us in the comment section below. So moving on to the next portion. Let's get into the most requested portion of this video, that is principles of forms and design. So let's see what are few principles first and then we will deal with the questions that appeared in our NATA exam. So let's see what is point. Point is something which is a dot kind of thing. So can you feel the point here? Yes. So line, we already know what is line. Line can be diagonal line, straight line, slanting line, curvy line, something like that. A plane is a 2D surface. What is gradation? Gradation means starting from darker hue, ending with lighter hue. That is color gradation. If you see in lines, we can see the line with higher thickness starting and ending with the thin lines. Okay, this is the gradation. Gradation means change of properties from higher to lowest or lower to higher. Okay, this is called gradation. So what is radial? Radial is from one point the element getting dispersed in radial way. It will disperse in equal way. Okay, from all direction. If it is dispersing, then it is radial. What is geometric? All the geometric shapes are geometric. We say if it is not geometric shape and it is freehand shape, then it can be called as organic also. Volume is some 3-dimensional element, 3 dimension or volume. Okay. So what is repetition? Repetition is repeating single element many times. What is rhythm? Rhythm is repeating many elements or single element in rhythmic pattern in definite interval, that is called rhythm. Okay. What is static? Static is something which is remaining same, same angle, or it is fixed, we can say. What is active or dynamic? Active or dynamic, we can say there will be some movement in the organization or composition, there will be some movement. Okay, what is symmetry? Symmetry, if we cut through the central axis and if we see the both sides will be equal in balance. Asymmetrical means we have balance but it will not be an equal balance. Okay, there will be, see, there is something missing here to make it symmetrical. So what is grouping? Grouping or proximity is something which is like the elements which are grouped together with close proximity is considered a single entity than something which is far apart. This is called grouping. Okay. So what is negative and positive space? The space which is occupied by the object or person in the figure is called as positive space, and uh, which is left over or which is acting as a background is considered as negative space. So what is transparent? Transparent means the first figure is showing some visibility to the background figure. Opaque means without transparency is called opaque. Layers means adding on different elements over other, which means adding one over other is called layers. Direction means pointing some direction, moving in some direction. So here we could see it is moving in particular direction here. So this is direction. So texture means it can be a visual texture or it can be something tactile touch. We can feel through touch. So those textures are there. In our case, we will consider the visual texture. Scale means comparing the size with other element which is close by. That is scale. Okay. The size is more concerned about scale. Okay. Pattern is something, a group of elements that is getting repeated without any alteration. They doesn't have any alteration. It is just repeated like that. Okay. Figure ground is something is play of foreground and background. I'll explain this later in this video. So here we can see two types of figure ground. One is ambiguous because we cannot have any relation with the background. It doesn't have any relation or something. So if you see this particular figure ground, it is reversible. If you see, we can see black arrow here, and if you see from this direction, we can see the white arrow here. So this is reversible. So these are few terms. I hope you understood these terms. Again, we'll go in detail of other terms as well. So, repetition. What is repetition? It is a simple repeating of single element many times in the design. So, we are simply repeating something many times in the design is called repetition. So, for example, if you see our logo of UARC, it will be getting repeated in every page at the same place. So, that is a principle under repetition. So another easy example that I give you is that remember the time you started learning your timetables. What you will do is you keep repeating many times until you drum them into your mind. So that is the same principle of repetition. Doing something repeatedly. That's it. Parallelism is use of lines lying in the same plane. So if you consider these two lines, they are lying in the same plane, equidistant at all points. See, they are at equal distance at all points and they are never meeting. They'll never meet. They go in parallel ways. It is simple, yet it is a interesting design principle. If you see this particular diagram of composition with red, blue and yellow, we can see number of parallel lines happening here. So it is a best example for parallelism. So if you see this particular angel figure, we can see the parallelism in terms of angels that they are arranged in this particular figure. So it should be noted that the parallelism to be perceived, the lines can be curves or shapes. Though with curves or shape, it should be somewhat like line in order for them to appear parallel. Though it is different shapes or curves or something, they should look like line so that they appear parallel. So see these angels, they are best example of parallelism. See this wooden thing, see this bamboo forest, they are also like best example for parallelism. This figure again, parallel lines are coming. See this, there are different curved lines happening here, but still they are coming into parallelism. So hope you understood a picture about parallelism. Moving on to the next slide. So let's talk about radiation. Radiation is a field of movement steadily bursting outwards in all directions from a visible or suggested center point. So we have to remember two things here. A radiation will definitely have a visible or a suggested center point. Yes, it should have. And from there, it should have all the radiating elements from that particular central point. Then it is called radiation. Emission of ray from central source, spokes like wheel spokes, petals of flowers, spider web are best example for this radiation principle. So if you see this particular figure here, this house, from this house, all these things are getting radiated. So this is an example of radiation. Even here, see the radiation. So this is how radiation is defined in distortion. Distortion is change of reality's depiction. If it is like altering in a way that one able to still recognize the item itself, but still notice that it is changed in some manner. So what we can do is we can recognize the item, we can recognize things, but we will also feel that something is being changed there. So see this figure, we can see here there is a human, it is a human figure, but still we can feel that something is being changed here. Even here it is a portrait, but we can feel something is being changed here. It is like that. Distortion, deliberate alteration or departure from normal depiction of shapes, forms, imaginary proportion, like that. There will be a normal depiction will be there, but there will be some alteration that we can feel. That is called distortion. So we can create depth and dimension via texture, shadow and 3D effect. Creating depth is an illusion of 3D space on the flat surface. So this can be created by overlapping, diminishing scale, or by perspective, vertical placement, changing color like warm to cool, cool to warm, or changing the intensity of the color. All these are the strategies that artists use to create a depth to the 2D face. So in this particular figure example, we can see overlapping is used to create a depth to this poster. So all the letters are overlapped to create a depth here. So hope you understood what is depth. Hierarchy helps signal the importance of each element in the whole composition. So here let's talk about this example, say the date card. So here the date is made larger, bolder, more noticeable than other fonts out here, and also it doesn't outshine the title of the card. So title of the card is also emphasis, whereas the date is also made in a hierarchical way. So this is first order and comes the second order, like that. So hierarchy in architecture is articulation of space or forms in an order of importance. So articulation is achieved by differentiating the size, shape, color, placement of forms, like that. Hierarchy is used to emphasize a particular item to influence the order in which the range of the item is experienced. So order and hierarchy is most similar way. Order is something ordering the spaces in a preferential manner. Same way hierarchy is also helping to give importance of each element. One particular element is highlighted in order to influence the item and in order to enhance the particular item in the design. So that is the hierarchy. Hope you understood. Did I confuse you guys? No, right? Symmetry. Symmetry is attractive and create a sense of harmony. What is symmetry? Symmetry means from the central axis, both of the sides on the axis remains constant or remains very much similar, 100% similar. That is symmetry. So we know this. So here are few logos which are created using this principle called symmetry to make look harmonious and balanced design. So moving on to the next slide. So let's make datum very simple way. Okay. Let's consider a flat ground on which all the houses are placed. Okay. So the ground, no, the plane, it is a datum. Why? Because datum is a form that can be a plane, a line or volume that ties together all the elements of the design. So which means what is many buildings share the same plane, which is ground, so it is clearly acting as datum, right? So same way here in this example we can see the bridge would be datum because it organizes the water and the land, so it is acting as a datum. Proportion is something, it is about relationship between objects or part of whole composition. It refers to relative size or scale of various elements in the design. Oh, this is called proportion. So here we have given few examples for proportion. So let's take a look on it. So all the figures here are acting as good proportion because the proportion with one element with other element, they are coinciding and they are giving a complete picture of perfect proportion element. So we can see this building Parthenon, Greece is maintaining a golden proportion here. So this is considered as one best proportion example. Okay. So let's see other example which are manipulation of proportion. So can you see this particular figure where this particular apple fruit is equal to the size of the whole room? Is this under right proportion? No, it is not proportion. They have manipulated the proportion in this particular art. Okay. So let's see the next example here. Here, if the elements are hugely exaggerated proportion to create sense of surrealism. What is surrealism? Surrealism was a cultural movement which is developed in Europe. What happens here was the artist, the visual arts or writings under this movement were under uncommon imaginary. The artist started painting unnerving, illogical scenes. Sometimes they create strange creatures from everyday objects like that. So this particular movement was inspired from Dadaism. Again, it is an art movement where artists who rejected the logic or reason and aesthetics which existing and they started expressing nonsense or irrational works. So that is called Dadaism art movement. And we are going to talk about another moment called abstractism. The abstract artwork is visual language of shapes, colors, lines to create composition which doesn't have any boundary to it. It is with degree of independence from visual reference from the world. They didn't follow what is existing in the world. They started giving something which is different and they didn't have any visual reference in the world. That is called abstractism. So we saw three moments. One is surrealism, Dadaism and abstractism. Let's move to the next topic. Focal point is a point where our eyeballs meet together. An object or element in the composition catches our first attention. It is called focal point. Okay. Element with point of interest, emphasis or difference captures the viewer's attention. So in this particular figure, we can see that the contrasting red color square catching our eyes. So that is called focal point in this particular figure. See, we can use this focal point in few posters where the potential attention or some danger poster can be put in the building. So we can use this particular principle there. So the principles of similarity, focal point, all are connected. Okay, the focal point cannot be seen without the presence of similar elements which is along the sides. So we can see all the circles are similar and one different element happening there, that is our focal point. So similarity and focal point comes together, and also don't confuse this with the hierarchy, contrast and those things. They are all coexisting. If it is a focal point, then it has to be some hierarchy, or it has to be emphasis, or it has to be little way contrast from others. So all these are existing together. Unity is something that visually satisfying effect of combining similar related elements. So here if you see, unity can be created with repetition of shapes or lines. In this example, we can see this three-tined shaped pitchfork which is repeated in cloth, window, vertical lines of the houses. So if you see that it is being repeated by creating a unity. The curved shapes, again it is repeating in head, curved surface, on her dress, background, trees, like that. Again it is creating some unity here. So something is getting repeated and creating a unified effect is called unity. Scale is again something which creates emphasis, drama, or aids hierarchy. So all these three things coexist. Scale, emphasis, hierarchy coexist. Okay. Check out this particular poster of movie Drive. In this poster, the lead character has taken up or scaled up dramatically and drawing attention to him first and the other face second. So we can see the main character is emphasis or created hierarchy. This particular effect or principle is called scale. Let's talk about 3D. What is 3D? Before that, let's see what is 2D and 1D. Line and point is called 1D. And if you have any plane, that is called 2D, and 3D which has volume, depth, mass is called 3D. So these are 3D. We can create a movement by blurring or using the motion lines or creating a wave effect. If you see this particular figure which is in blue, it directs the viewer's eye along a path. Okay, it is creating some movement or action, or it is giving us some direction where our eye has to move on. So let's see the another logo example. It is made with simple sharp geometric shapes with various opacities, right, over each other. It is overlaid to replicate the hummingbird's wings are in flight. This simple effect of overlaying with different opacities, what happens is it creating a clean, clear, sophisticated sense of movement here. So this is all about movement principle. Hope you got it. These are some examples of movement. If you see in this particular figure 1, the artist defines where our eye has to be in or around or through the composition. He defines the path for our eye movement. So he automatically created an motion or movement for this particular figure. So we will understand unity and variety together because it is very easy to grasp the concept when it is together. Okay, let's talk about unity here. In this first figure, we can see all the shapes are circle and the color is yellow. So the unity here is same color and same size. But what is different here is size. Okay, the different sizes. So that is acting as variety here. So what about this figure? All are similar size, similar shape, but the color is different. So unity is same size and same shape, but the color is the variety here. So this is about unity and variety. Unity is also called similarity. Okay, the elements that share similar characteristics perceived as more related elements than others don't share the character. So similarity and unity are somewhere more or less similar. Okay. So in this particular figure, we can see this unity is provided by repetition of circles on the neutral background. So the circles are repeated, that is the shapes is repeated. What is variety here? Variety by size and variety by color by overlapping them. So variety is created with color and size, whereas unity is created with the shape. Okay. So let's talk about the play of foreground and background. First, we have to understand what is background, foreground and middle ground. Then it is very easy for us. So let's see here. The thing which comes in front is foreground and in middle is middle ground and in the back is background. That's it. So if you see this whole art, if you see this completely, this portion is acting as background and this is acting as middle ground, which comes in front, which is having more depth. It is coming as foreground. Okay, this is about foreground, middle ground and background. In the composition, it is divided into three grounds, that is fore, middle and background. Foreground appears closest to the viewer, whereas background appears further apart from the viewer. Middle ground appears in middle of fore and background. That's it. Let's talk about texture. Texture gives tactility and depth to the design. If you give something a texture, you are visually creating that particular material out there in the design, or you're giving some depth to the particular art. Okay, so these are few examples of texture which we have given with pencil art, which is 2D but giving us enough visual texture. We can understand randomness just by the word as well as by seeing this particular figure here. So it is just creating a stylistic disorder that has purpose and intent. So can we see here some random shapes that are put together to form a composition. See here again some random things are arranged to make a very good decoration out here, and here random arrangement of different shapes is used to create a pattern here. So this is called randomness. So let's talk about contrast. Contrast is creating emphasis via light versus dark, thick versus thin, like that. So if you see here, it is like light versus dark. If you see here, it is thin versus thick, like that. So let's talk about one example here. So let's talk about this particular poster here. See, the artist has ensured adequate contrast against the typing and the image. Since it is split into two, it is directly talking to us. This particular poster has two concepts. Okay, one is about Bike Expo, that is in New York City. Okay, the enough contrast is created that one side being dominantly green and other being dark gray. The type, color and other images adjusted accordingly to ensure everything is legible. So it is a very good contrast poster here. So let's talk about another one here. This is one. So it is a great example of high contrast, not only by dark and light. See, we can see this is dark and light. Not only by that, it is also thick and thin. So two type of contrast in one particular figure. It is very good example of contrast. We should be aware of this topic as well. It is a grid. Very simple. Grid is to align and arrange things in correct way. So we can see one example here where this particular poster is aligned as per the grid and only few parts of the grid is visible. The other remains white, but still giving us an illusion that one image of that particular person. Transparency is something which allows element to interact together. So I already told you what is transparency. See here, it is a best example of transparency. At different colors and with different opacities, they created the effect of transparency in the poster. It is a stunning effect, right? though there are different colors, size, different elements in that particular poster, we can see things clearly because of the effect called transparency, right? It emphasizes the layers. We can also say this as layers and transparency for this poster. What is negative and positive space? Let's see in this particular example here, the element which is shaded or which is in the front or foreground is called positive, and element which is on the back is called negative. So negative space is space in between. So let's see this particular poster here. It is very strategically and clearly done with the negative space technique. Okay. So look at that animal icons there that use simple clean shapes, render clear depiction of each animal with the help of the negative space. So the animal becomes complete with the help of the negative space and this positive space in it. So it is an interplay of negative and positive space. So let's talk about harmony here. Harmony involves selection of design or elements that share common trait. However, harmony becomes monotony without variety. So we have to find the elements are in harmony means they follow the common trait or common characteristics between them. Repetition of elements like color, texture, shape, fall is one of the easiest way to achieve harmony. So for example, if you see here the circle one, it is the background of this particular figure is little in round form. So it is making a harmony with this figure. Whereas here, see the foreground shape and the background is little different. Here it is circle and they are sharp one. So they are creating a dissonance which is lack of harmony. Okay. Dissonance can be created if the same background is interchanged with a different foreground. See here the harmony is created because of these figures follow the common trait. So this is how we define harmony, right? Let's talk about direction. Direction is something very similar to movement. It directs the viewer's eye path to get followed. So the artist or designer directs our eye movement in the particular figure. So it is just like this. Look here, now here, and finish here. It is like directing the eye path. Okay. Let's see this example where our eyes get directed like this. Here it keeps going like this, right? So the flow or direction encourage the viewers to read or consume the figure simultaneously taking this particular image. So it will direct us simultaneously we take the complete image. So this is called direction. It is more or less equal to movement. So let's talk about proximity. Proximity is something which is called nearness or farness between the elements. The object that are close together perceived as a single object then that is far apart. If you see this particular example, the object which are placed close together perceived as more related than that is placed apart. So if you see this is grouped. I already told you what is grouping. So this is grouped together. It is seen as single entity, whereas this particular figure is grouped together same elements but we can see as two groups. So this is called proximity. What is continuation? The elements are arranged on a line or a curve perceived as related than other elements which are not in the curve. So let's consider this particular example. So what we see is we see a line and a curve crossing each other. Instead of four distinct lines and curve segments meet at single point. For example, it can be also perceived 1, 2, 3 and 4 meeting at center point, right? It can be perceived as like that, but what we do is we consider as one single line and one single curve intersecting at each other, right? So what happens, the element in the line or curve acting as single entity, that is called continuation. So these are few examples of continuity. Let's talk about Gestalt principle in one single slide with this figure easily. So what is figure ground? Figure ground is something where people perceive object either whether it is in foreground or its background. Something which is in foreground like Gestalt principle written here act as figure, and which is on the background the gray color is acting as ground here. So let's talk about common region. Common region is something when objects located within same closed region, we perceive them as grouped together. See this orange region, we can see there are different elements, but we consider this group together and we can perceive G in it. So this is called common region. Proximity. Proximity is something when the things are close together, they appears to be related things. So see, since we can perceive E, all the circles which are close together, that is why we consider that as single element and we can perceive E. So what is continuity? Continuity is something when the elements are placed in a line or curve, they are perceived to be related to each other. That is why it is called continuity here. What is closure? Closure is something when you look at complex arrangement or different elements in visual base, what you see is we tend to feel it as single recognizable pattern. See, we have two different elements here. Some element like here, something here. Okay. So we have three things here, but we perceive it as T, right? That is called, this principle is called closure principle. Symmetry, as we already know, symmetry is something when we draw an axis in middle, we have two equal halves of similar halves on either side. That is called symmetry. Similarity. Similarity principle is a very easy thing to identify. See, when you see things that appear to be similar to each other, we group them together. See, I feel this is similar to each other, so I group them together. I felt this is similar to each other, so I grouped them together. That is why I was able to see that L letter, L alphabet through the principle of similarity. Okay, common fate or synchronizing we call, it is very similar to this common region. See, common fate is something all the elements which having the same trait are grouped together visually. That is called common trait. Okay, we have another principle called focal point. Focal point is where our eyes get contact, eyes comes or converge together. The point which is getting emphasis is called focal point. So these are all the principles of Gestalt. So let's see what is vitality. Vitality means life or life force. It is signifying that liveliness in the building. It can be obtained by varying proportions of solids or voids inside the building or outside in elevation. So it can be accentuated by cantilevers, curves, slopes, color, facade treatments like that. It can express life, bold, or dynamism in the building. If you see an example, you will get what is vitality. So it is achieved by contrast also, maybe contrast by color, tone, texture, proportion, solid or void like that. So too many contrasting element, too many contrast will impair harmony and tend to produce a multiplicity of equal interest as well. So this is called vitality. So vitality is something which is stand out from what is existing, what is there. Okay. So let's see an example here. Let's see, and best example for vitality is this dancing building, which gives a sense of dynamism and vitality. The curvilinear forms and irregular shaped windows here, this portion, it's creating a visual interest here. This is called vitality. Repose refers to rest, tranquility, and quietness. Tranquility in the sense calm, okay? It is opposite of vitality, which we saw already, and it creates a sense of pleasant and peacefulness. Repose can achieved by form, shape, materials, and color. Carefully selecting or introducing the landscape and water body can add this effect more. Material honesty and structural integrity can exemplify the repose and restraint. Let's see this particular example of Taj Mahal where this white marble, blue sky, lush green landscape and still water body personify repose and tranquility. The structure with dome and minarets is this, okay, this portion. So minarets frame gives us a calmness to the calmness effect. Okay, so this is called repose. So let's talk about restraint. What is restraint means measure or condition that keeps something under control. Restraint is you restrain something, right? You control something. It brings simplicity and elegance in the design. Restraint characteristic by minimalistic in design concentrate on functionality of the building without additional ornamentation. So the ornamentation or decoration or aesthetic is very less and restraint, whereas the restraint is characterized by minimalistic in design, concentrate on functionality of the building. So the restraint in design, quality holding it back and implementing something which involves solves problems with simplest way possible. Often designer wanted to show off, imprint their own identity piece of work, too much ornamentation, overwhelming colors, too many details result in loss of focus and destroy beauty of the building. So the controlled proportion and minimal design brings inherent aesthetics in the building. It is an architecture based material honesty and structural integrity. One best example for this repose and restraint is this particular building called Toyota Municipal Museum of Arts. The usage of white frosted glass, shimmery reflection pool, the bold horizontal mass, contrasting black granite arches brings a sense of calmness and tranquility. Let's talk about accentuation or emphasis. We have already discussed emphasis in our previous videos of our channel, but still I want to introduce this particular word to you, that is accentuation, which is also called as emphasis. So, which means certain part of the building are highlighted or certain portion of the building is highlighted. That's it. It can be achieved through contrast, massing, ornamentation, color, positioning, like that. It creates the visual interest and focus in the composition. So, focus can be created by emphasis, hierarchy, accentuation also. Okay, remember all these terms. That is why I'm telling. So, we are focusing on three important terms which are all similar. One is accentuation, emphasis, and dominance. Whatever it is, they have very much similar meaning between them. So it can be highlighted by giving different shape here, different color and different size here. We have already discussed this in detail. Remember these three keywords, okay? Let's see what is definition. Definition is clearly defining outer line or form of any component of building or parts of the building is called definition. Example of definitions are defining arches, window openings, various floors of the tall building, like that. Let's see this particular example here. We can clearly see that a base or shaft and top floors are clearly defined with different surface treatments. Let's see the bottom floor. It is defined with different shape out there, right? And we can clearly see the edge of the buildings are defined with heavy vertical columns here, and different floors are defined with the horizontal column, like this. Even the top floor is treated with capital as well as with wide overhang. See this floor is clearly defined as top floor. So this is called definition. So here we are seeing the examples of different definitions. This is definition of opening here, definition of entrance, definition of edges with different materials, definition of arches. So let's move on to the second question of NATA, which is to identify four most important visual principles in the given two-dimensional black and white composition. So all the principles which are listed in the options are mostly discussed. If not, we will discuss it here. Okay, let's move on answering this particular question. Repetition. Yes, we can see the repetition here by these elements are getting repeated, right? You can see so many elements are getting repeated here. So repetition will be answer. Parallelism. Parallelism is two lines which will not intersect We don't have any parallel lines here, so the answer would be no. Radiating, yes, we can feel something is radiating from here, right? So radiating is answer. Distortion, it will be like some disturbance created within the figure. No, there is no disturbance or no nothing as such. Depth, though we can feel very less depth, I don't feel much depth here. I don't give depth as answer. Hierarchy, no, we don't feel hierarchy. We don't have order. We don't have datum. No. Do I have continuity here? Yes, we can see that eyeball is getting moved from here to here. There is some movement and continuity happening here, right? So continuity is there. Direction, no defined direction for this. It is radiating. It has different direction. So I didn't go for this. Vibration, as we already saw in previous video, what is vibration? The creating of vibrating effect with contrast colors or contrast figures like that. We don't feel any vibration here. Intricacy is something which intensive detail like that. We have intricate details here, right? So intricacy is there. Delicateness is something which is very fragile, like that, very soft kind of nature. I don't feel anything delicate here. Focal point, yes, we have some focal point from where the things are getting radiated. So once radiating comes, then definitely it has focal point. Contrast, as according to me, we have contrast because black and white is the contrast. But here, since it is a black and white composition, definitely it will be there. It is preset. If you want, you can give contrast also according to me. Complexity is the, I feel little complex with this. It is not very simple composition. Basically, it is little complex. We know what is complex meaning, right? Yeah, it is complex. So these are the answers. So let's sort some example questions which is very similar to our NATA questions. So let's find 4 important principles which applies to this particular composition. Repetition, yes, according to me, repetition is there. Can we see all these things are getting repeated here? Circle is repeated. So many things are getting repeated. So repetition is there. Parallelism, no. Radiation, yes, according to me, radiation is there because this is the focal point. See, it is getting radiated. Alright, even here it is radiating. Here it is radiating. So radiation is there. Distortion, no, we don't have distortion. We don't have hierarchy. We don't have vibration. Never. Symmetry, no continuity because we get our eye is not traveling on particular direction. See, for if you see here, for me it goes here, and for from here it goes here, from here it goes. So it is like not unified basically, right? And it goes here, here. Direction, yes, we have direction here. And variety, yes, definitely we have variety. Dynamic, yes, it is dynamic because it is not static. No, so many curved lines are created to make it little dynamic or moving like that. What is this? Convergence, yes, convergence is also there. Convergence is something which is something similar to radiation. Convergence is at one point all are getting converged, right? This is called conversion. And what is radiating is one point where it all goes out. This radiation. So definitely at this point we don't know whether it is converging or radiating. Yes, it has convergence also. Contrast, yes, it has contrast. But since it is black and white composition, definitely it has. So you can least consider this. Delicateness, no, we don't have anything which is very delicate, fragile or something. We don't have. We have intricacy or complexity here. Yes, definitely we have complexity, and we have flow also here. Okay. So we have so many elements like repetition. So foremost means I would give repetition, radiation I would give, variety I'll give, and complexity or flow I'll give, like that. I'll give these four. Okay. So let's see the third question of NATA, which is again to identify four most important principles in 2D black and white composition. So let's see the options here. Repetition. See, I don't feel anything, any elements which are continuously repeated here. Right? We have this repetition. This rectangle is getting repeated, but not in continuous way. There is some difference, right? So I don't feel repetition here. Parallelism, yes, we have parallel lines happening here. See the parallel lines here. Here we can see so many lines which are not intersecting, but going in a way. So parallelism, is there symmetry? No, we don't have symmetry here. 3D effect, yes, we have 3D effect. We can feel it here, right? With the depth it created with different colors, we can feel this 3D. Right, the 3D effect is created here, so 3D effect. So we don't have any rhythmic pattern happening here according to me. Hierarchy, no, I don't feel any hierarchy here. Order, can we feel any order? Maybe we can feel some order here because first, second, we can, it is good, third level, fourth, some order is maintained, fifth, or it can be one, two here. See, first rectangle, second, it is maintaining some order, but nothing is like what emphasis. If something is emphasis in that particular order, we tell it hierarchy, but some order is there according to me. Datum, no, I don't feel any datum here. Datum is something which unite two elements in one figure, which connects two elements in one figure. Continuity, no, I don't feel continuity. Direction, no direction here. Vibration, no. Depth, yes, we have depth. That's why it is created 3D effect. So depth and 3D effect is connected. So if you have depth, definitely 3D effect will be there. Play of foreground and background, yes, we can feel this, right? This is close to us. This particular, I'll change the color. This particular thing is close to us, whereas this is far up. This is again close, this is far from viewer, like that. This is far from viewer, like that. So we have this play of background and foreground. Something is close to viewer, something is behind for us. So intricacy, we don't have any intricate detail here according to me. Delicateness, no, no, it is not delicate, it is not fragile, it is not giving some smooth or feminine effect or fragile effect, right? Balance, yes, definitely any composition definitely have balance. Yes, this has balance, asymmetrical balance this figure has. So I'll give balance, play of foreground background, depth, 3D, order, parallelism, but I'll keep order as last option. I'll give others as first option. So let's talk about another example, which is again very similar to the previous example that we saw for question number 3. So let's see, let's start with options. Repetition, can you find repetition here? Yes, definitely I can find repetition here. See the steps. See here. These are repeated. So I feel it is repeated. And parallelism, if steps comes, no, directly go for parallelism, because see here the lines, parallel lines that will not get intersect, so we will have parallelism. Radiation, we have to find whether it has radiation. No focal point and nowhere it is getting radiated, so radiation is not there. No, it is not symmetrical effect. Yes, definitely it has 3D effect, right? What, see here we have 3D effect. Even here, can you feel the 3D effect here? If 3D effect is there, definitely what will be there? Depth will be there. So depth is not given in this option, so let's leave it. Movement, can you feel movement happening here? See, this particular thing is moving. Movement is there. So let's keep this as option. Let's check others. Rhythm, can you feel any rhythm happening here? No, I don't feel any rhythmic pattern. Hierarchy, no hierarchy according to me. Order, we don't have defined order here. Flow, yeah, we have a flow here. See, this portion is giving us some flow. Even here some flow is there, but let's check. Let's keep it as option. Direction, can we feel direction here? No, I don't feel any particular direction is emphasized. Gradation, actually I feel some gradation is there, like from this color to gray to here. But defined gradation means it has to be like this. From here it has to go to dark. Okay? That gradation is not there. Play of foreground and background. Yeah, it has some, this portion is little close to the observer, and see, this is little far apart that we can see, but this is almost backside. Contrast, yes, definitely we have contrast here, right? We already discussed since it's black and white composition. Let's see. Complexity, yes, we have good complexity, but sorry, we don't have good complexity. Focal point, no, it is don't have, we don't have one single focal point over here. We can see this portion, we can see this here. So what all I've selected: play of background and foreground, contrast, flow, movement, parallelism, repetition. So first option will be parallelism. Definitely repetition is there. 3D effect is there. So these will be three main options. Then I'll go for the then I'll go for play of foreground or background. Then I'll go for flow. Then contrast. Contrast is definitely there, but since it is the black and white composition, definitely it will be there. So these are my options. Please comment your options. If I'm going wrong or somewhere, you can just comment me. So let's identify four most important principle in two dimensions. This is fourth question in NATA for 16 marks. So can we see gradation here? According to me, we have some gradation in the background. See the white space and see the dark space here. This is how gradation comes. So from light to little dark here. So I feel gradation is there. Parallelism is not there. Radiation is not there. Distortion is not there. Depth is not there. Contrast is there. I have minor rhythm, I feel here. So something is, some elements are kept repeating in rhythmic way. So I feel some repetition or rhythm is happening here. In different intervals it is being repeated. See, here it is repeated, here it is repeated, here in different way. I feel rhythm is there, but comment me whether it is there or not. I'm not sure. Focal point is definitely is there, and here is a focal point. Okay, play of foreground background, not much. Maybe this portion it has, but not well defined like other one. Continuity, can we feel continuity? No, no, continuity is not there. Direction is not there. Vibration, no, no vibration, I don't feel. Repetition, yes, repetition is there, right? All the elements are getting repeated. Luminance, luminance is something, some light effect, I guess. So it is not there. Flow, yes, I don't think flow is there. Intricacy, yes, the detail is little intricate in this particular portion. So I'll give intricacy. So my four options will be, definitely I'll go for this focal point and repetition for sure, intricacy for sure, contrast, rhythm, and then gradation. So like this, you just see all the options and mark which all are you feel it is there, and then give which is obvious for you, you give that as first four options. Okay, so this is another similar example here. So let's go to the option directly. Parallelism, yes, these lines are curved lines but they are not intersecting, so it is definitely parallelism. Radiation, I don't feel any radiation. 3D effect, yes, see here, can you feel it is 3D? I feel it is. So 3D, some depth is there. Hierarchy, I don't feel any hierarchy, no order, no symmetry. Datum, I don't think datum is there. Continuity, I feel movement is there. Some movement is there, right? Some continuity breaking is there, but continuity is also there. Let's keep it as option, but movement is there. Vibration, no, I don't feel vibration is there. Convergence, no, nowhere it is getting converged. Rhythm, yes. Repetition is there. Let's see, let's keep it as option. Delicateness, no, I don't feel. Focal point, we don't have any focal point. We don't have contrast. Direction, yes, we have some direction, no, somewhere our eye movement is going this way, or from here to here, or here to there, like that. Some directions. So according to me, parallelism will be my first, and then 3D effect second, and then movement third, and I'll go for direction. So these are my four options. Let's try few more examples here. Can we move to the options directly? Gradation, no, we don't have any gradation. Parallelism, I feel some parallel lines are going here. So I feel something like here, here, it is. So I feel parallelism is there. Radiation, see, according to me, since the element, play with the element, they're creating a focal point here, and something moving from here they are creating. So according to me, it is radiation is radiation is there, distortion is not there, depth is not there, contrast, yes, it is there. Rhythm, yes, some rhythmic movement is there, focal point is there, play of foreground and background is not there, continuity is not there, direction is not there, vibration, no, repetition, yes, it has some same elements that is being repeated in different pattern, maybe it's because rhythm. Luminance is not there, flow is not there, intricacy, again it is not intricate like that. So my option will be parallelism, contrast, rhythm, focal point. So here, let's discuss. So according to me, it is randomness. I would say this I is kept repeating very randomly, right? So I'll give options. If randomness is there, I'll definitely give that particular option. So repetition, yes, we have to give repetition. Parallelism, yes, it is not symmetrical. It doesn't have 3D effect. Not rhythm, it is repetition. Hierarchy, can we give hierarchy? Is any eye is little different or by size or shape? Yes, we can see here, right? So, but it is not that highlighted. Maybe it is there. Let's keep an option. Order, we don't have any order. No datum. Continuity. Mhm. Yeah, we can feel little play of foreground and background. See, we can feel this particular eye diagram is like eye figure is little coming front, and this portion is going back. Stickers is not there. Balance, yeah, we have balance. So according to me, it will be repetition, parallelism. I'm telling parallelism with this dark lines, okay, because it is not intersecting, not this one which is getting intersected. I'm talking about the parallel lines on the back side, dark one. Parallelism. Um, so I'll give play of foreground, background, balance, and then hierarchy. So here it is definitely repetition, parallelism, not symmetry actually. 3D effect, can you feel any 3D? Not much depth is there. Rhythm, yes, rhythmic pattern is there. Hierarchy, no, not Let's keep it as option. Order, yes. Continuity, direction is there. Then continuity, direction is there. Depth is not there. Vibration is not there. Balance is there. So I'll give repetition first, parallelism, and then I'll give order, direction, and balance. So tell me your options as well. Let's try practicing 4 questions which I have given here. So the answers will be given in the description box below. So check the answers whether it is right. It is completely subjective, right? So we have tried giving appropriate answers. Do kindly check the answers there. So comment your answers in the comment section. So understanding concept is really important. More than that, practicing it is high importance. So we plan to make a mock test on the topics that we discussed today by tomorrow 4 p.m. So kindly prepare yourself for this particular topic. So we are going to give some 10 questions of all PTQ type questions on this topic that we discussed. So be ready, guys. So we have completed all PTQ type questions in part A of NATA. So we are going to continue with all MCQ questions in next part of this session, since we have already completed 1 hour of our session. So we are going to continue that as second part, and you guys sat for whole video, and out of 24 hours in a day you completely studied for 1 hour for NATA. So you guys gained it and you deserve very good marks. All the very best. Tata, bye bye. Take care.